Navigating change and loss. Building resilience. PSU training. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Your Name, and I'm really pleased to be spending this part of your life skills training with you today. This module is titled Navigating Change and Loss Building Resilience. And over the next few hours, we're going to explore something that is a fundamental part of being human. The experience of change and loss and how we can build our inner strength to navigate these times. Now I know that when we hear words like grief or loss, it might bring certain thoughts to mind. And while we will certainly touch upon those more profound experiences, I want to assure you that this session is really about equipping you with skills that are relevant to all sorts of transitions you might encounter, both in your personal lives and as you embark on your careers in heavy equipment operation. Think about it. Your journey through this PSU training is a significant change in itself. You're learning new skills, adapting to new routines, and building new relationships with your fellow trainees and instructors. And as you move into your careers, you'll encounter even more changes. New job sites, new teams, new equipment, and perhaps even changes in your personal lives as you build your futures. Change is constant, isn't it? And sometimes change involves a sense of loss. The loss of the familiar, the loss of a routine, the loss of a connection, or even the loss of an expectation. Understanding these dynamics and developing healthy ways to navigate them is a vital life skill, one that will serve you well in all aspects of your journey. Our goal today is to provide you with a foundational understanding of change and loss, to help you recognize the common ways we respond to these experiences, and most importantly, to introduce you to practical strategies for coping and building your resilience. That inner strength that helps us to bounce back and adapt when things get tough. By the end of our time together, you'll have a better understanding of why change and loss are natural parts of life. The different forms that loss can take, both personally and professionally. The range of emotions and behaviors that are common when we experience change or loss. Practical skills you can use to cope with challenging transitions. The importance of looking after yourself and seeking support when needed. And where you can find resources for support within your community and potentially your workplace. To make this a meaningful experience for all of us, I want to emphasize a few things up front. Firstly, this is a safe and respectful learning environment. We are all here to learn and grow. Your experiences and perspectives are valuable, and we encourage you to engage thoughtfully. Secondly, while we may touch upon sensitive topics, please know that sharing is always voluntary. You are in control of what you choose to share and what you keep private. There is no pressure to disclose personal experiences if you are not comfortable doing so. However, if you do choose to share, please do so with respect for yourself and others. Finally, please know that while I am here to guide our discussion and share information, I am not a therapist or counselor. If, during our time together, anything comes up for you that feels overwhelming or that you need more in-depth support for, I will be providing information on where you can access professional help and resources. Your well-being is paramount. To get us started and to gently ease into the topic of change, I'd like to invite you to participate in a brief, non-intrusive icebreaker activity. Take a moment to think about a positive change you've experienced. It could be something big or small, learning a new skill, starting a new hobby, moving to a new place you enjoy, or a positive shift in a relationship. Just take a moment to bring that to mind. Now, you don't need to share this out loud unless you feel comfortable, but I want you to just acknowledge that change, even positive change, often involves a shift, an adjustment. There might have been things you had to let go of to embrace that positive change. For example, learning a new skill might have meant spending less time on something else. Moving to a new place, even if exciting, meant leaving behind familiar surroundings. This simple exercise helps us to recognize that change, in all its forms, is a constant in our lives. And by understanding how we navigate even positive changes, we can gain insights into how we might approach more challenging transitions. Over the next, let's say, 13 minutes or so, we'll be laying the groundwork for our deeper exploration into change and loss. We'll define what we mean by these terms, looking beyond just the most obvious forms of loss. We'll also touch upon why these experiences are such a natural part of life, and even our working lives, particularly in a dynamic field like heavy equipment operation. So, let's begin by really understanding what we mean when we talk about change and loss, and how these concepts extend beyond what might immediately come to mind. When we talk about change, we're referring to any shift, alteration, or transition that occurs in our lives, our circumstances, or our environment. It can be planned or unexpected, big or small, positive or challenging. Think about the changes you're already experiencing in this training program: new schedules, new information, new physical demands. These are all forms of change. And as we touched on earlier, loss extends beyond the passing of a loved one. It encompasses the feeling of something being gone, the absence of something or someone valued. This could be the loss of a relationship, a job, a routine, a sense of security, a dream, or even a physical ability. Recognizing this broader definition of loss is important because it helps us understand that many different experiences can trigger feelings of grief and adjustment. Even positive changes, as we discussed, can involve a sense of loss for what was. Embracing a new opportunity might mean leaving behind a comfortable situation. Achieving a goal might mark the end of a particular journey. Acknowledging these accompanying feelings of loss, even in positive transitions, can help us navigate them more effectively. Next, we'll briefly touch upon the naturalness of transition. Change and loss are not anomalies, they are inherent parts of the human experience. Just as the seasons cycle and life itself has its ebbs and flows, so too do our personal and professional lives. Understanding this can help us to accept these experiences as a fundamental aspect of being alive. Finally, we'll begin to consider loss in the context of your work. As you move into the field of heavy equipment operation, you'll encounter various transitions and potential losses, from the completion of projects and team changes, to adapting to new technologies and even dealing with injuries. Recognizing these potential challenges now can help you develop proactive coping strategies as you move forward. So as we move into the main part of our session, keep these initial thoughts in mind. Change and loss are broad experiences that touch all of us. Recognizing their many forms and understanding that they are a natural part of life, including your future careers, is the first step towards building resilience and navigating these times with greater strength and understanding. In our next section, we'll delve deeper into the common emotional and behavioral responses we might have when facing change and loss. Understanding these reactions can help us to normalize our own experiences and develop greater self-awareness. I look forward to exploring this with you.